of the light, we meet in the shadows to unite in all that we are. Sisters of the light, we meet in the shadows to arise in the truth of who we are, and we'll bring the moon to the earth that waits, like the stars in the souls that we grace. Know the love that flows within to be, as we light the shadows that we see, as we light the shadows that we see. Sisters of the light, we meet in the shadows, unite in all that we are. Sisters of the light, we meet in the shadows and arise in the truth of who you are, and we'll bring the moon to the earth that waits, like the stars in the souls that we grace. Know the love that flows within to be, as we light all the shadows that we see and arise to the light, arise to the light where we be. Good morning, lovely sisters. How are you all doing today in this new moon energy? I'm feeling good today. I feel like I've kind of released a load of stuff, and just kind of resting in all that I am, resting in kind of the light of what I know myself to be. So just kind of taking a moment, putting my hand on my heart, breathing in that present moment, connecting in with my guides, connecting in with my angels, and just kind of knowing the truth of the love that kind of rests in the center of me. So what am I going to talk about today? I feel like this week is just feels so empowering. It feels like kind of the moment, the time to kind of push forward and rise and just kind of like step into all that you are, just everything that you are. And when I say all that you are, I don't mean kind of ways that you might define yourself in your life. So I don't mean in terms of your job or in terms of the work that you do. I mean simply arising in the presence, in the loving being, in the light that you are, which is just so beautiful, the beautiful souls that you are, and kind of knowing the truth of your being. And when you're connecting with that, when you know that, everything else kind of just falls away and doesn't seem quite so important, but yet somehow flows, which is just magical. It's feeling like one of those magical kind of days. So I said to somebody who I was talking to that I would do a video and talk a little bit about twin flame journeys and Ho'oponopono. I know I've done Ho'oponopono before, but if you've missed it, I'll just quickly go over it because it's a really valuable tool. Twin flame journeys. Do you know what? I'm not gonna go into my twin flame journey right now. Because the thing is, we've got a few twin flames in this group. And if you focus on the relationship side of it, everybody's going to be different, because people are different. Choices that we decide to make in our life are different. Our paths are kind of, you know, in different places. The relationship side to it is very individual and very unique, and how that is going to flow through and emerge is part of your own individual path. But what I can talk about is some of the key tools that I have learned along the way, which kind of connect me back into myself. Because one thing that I have learned on this this twin flame journey, which is kind of, it's relevant for everybody, the lessons that you learn on this journey is relevant for everybody, is that everything in that path comes back to self. It always does. And you seem to go through these cycles of lessons over and over again, and everything always comes somehow and leads it back to self. Your perspective will be on something, will be flipped through every single possible angle that you can imagine. You will live every single possible angle that you can imagine, and it always brings you back to self, to finding the truth of yourself, to knowing the light of yourself, and kind of distancing yourself from the mess and the chaos, if that makes sense. So if you're on the twin flame path or journey, you will find that you are tested over and over again. You are challenged over and over again, whether you are in separation or whether you're in each other's lives or whether you're moving towards that union. People talk about union, and if you focus too much on the relationship side of it, you kind of lose what it's about. And what it seems to be about is the union of self. A union of self, a union within self, uniting all the kind of different elements, the kind of masculine and feminine energies within us, the light and the dark within us, and finding a way to sit in balance and the truth of our being. And when we do that, not only do we find so much illumination, but so many gifts come through to us, and we step into our purpose, or what some people in the twin flame world call our mission. Which again, the way that that work flows out will be, you know, tailored to your own gifts and your own talents. But ultimately, it's about shining out a light of awakening for others, and that's what it comes down to. So some of the tools that have been invaluable to kind of get you through all the many kind of stages that you go through with it, because within that path there is a lot of rising pain, and there is a lot of rising suffering that comes up to challenge you. But when you're in that process, that is a process of healing. That is a process of healing, and you're facing all your shadows, you're facing all your griefs, you're facing all your woundings, so that you can move through that and arise in the light of who you are. So that's kind of easier said than done, but I know there's a few people who are in different places at the moment right now with this. So when that darker side arises, when that suffering arises, when you're processing the kind of depths of your woundings, the depths of your grief, that is a hope to cling on to. That is a hope to cling on to, that this is your healing, this is your story, this is your journey, and it's something that you will rise through. In terms of bringing it back to knowing who we are, connecting in with the light, I talk about this all the time, but there's such like key foundation things. Having a strong spiritual practice in place. Because if you don't have that strong set spiritual practice, I have found if you don't have some kind of routine to it, you will find that you lose yourself in the chaos, which is very easily done, especially when you're going through a kind of deep healing process. If you're going through lots of challenges coming up in your life, if you've not got that practice in place, you've not got that routine in place, you'll start to feel like you lose who you are. And then when it gets really, really hard and really, really tough, you know that you've got a moment to connect into. You've got a moment where, even if it's just 5 minutes of the day, you're in the light and you're in who you are and you're in your heart. And then in that's the place where kind of illumination comes through and everything for that moment feels right. And you know your truth. You know your truth, because that's really, really important with this journey as well. Knowing your own truth and believing in your own truth and having faith in your own truth. Because it can be challenging. It can be challenging. And I've been through a lot of times where I've tried to push that truth away. But when you resist it, when you fight it, it brings you back into that kind of internal fight within. That just kind of brings pain, really. It just kind of brings more pain. When you surrender to the path, when you surrender to not knowing, when you surrender to kind of the truth of your being, that's when everything starts to feel a little bit easier, because then you're in flow. As soon as you step out of flow and you've got all these internal fights and internal battles going on, that's when everything feels really, really hard. That's when you feel that pain. And those kind of internal fights, it's not about not having them, because they're important. They're part of it, like I said. They're part of the healing process that you will go through. But if you've got that strong spiritual practice, you have those moments of being able to distance yourself from the fight, being able to distance yourself from all that kind of upheaval, and remember. It's all about remembering who we are and connecting in with who we are. So I hope that makes sense. I know it will make sense to the other twin flames in the group who I'm doing this for. So spiritual practices, gratitude, I've talked about loads. So important. It really, really is, as a daily practice. And Ho'oponopono, I said I would talk about a little bit. So Ho'oponopono is a mantra, a very, very, very powerful mantra, which you say, and it kind of changes your perspective on something, and it brings healing to it. And the words of the mantra are: I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Very, very simple words, but they bring so much love, so much unconditional love, and so much healing. So when you first start off working with Ho'oponopono, it's good to just kind of say those words over and over, to kind of get used to saying them, to kind of build up a routine of saying them. So kind of, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Saying that over and over and over again. A good place to start with it is to yourself as well. Saying those words to yourself, or saying those words to the other people in your life who you may be feeling conflict with, who you maybe feel that you've got some healing work to do in that area. And then it's breaking those words down and kind of finding the deeper meaning in them as you say them. So once you've got used to saying them, once you've got used to that routine and that pattern, it's saying it with truth, it's saying it with heart, and it's saying it with meaning. And ultimately, on the twin flame path, because everything Well, in all paths, everything comes back to self. It's saying those words to yourself to find that deep self-love. Because people talk about self-love and how to look after yourself, how to take care of yourself, self-care and all that kind of thing. But when you feel that true, deep love for yourself, all the other complicated factors of relationship, like codependency, entanglement, any kind of like conflict and stuff that arises, you know, I want this and they want that and it's not quite working, and all those clashes, when you feel that true, deep self-love, all that falls away. All that falls away. So I'll give you an example of how I've been practicing Ho'oponopono the last few days. So I kind of noticed within my twin flame journey, I'll talk about it a little bit. Because I'm in separation and I've kind of letting go of that relationship side of it, I wanted to push all of that completely away. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And the more I tried to push it away out of my life, out of the foundation of the work that I do, the more spirit came in with messages trying to kick me up the backside and put me back on my path. So that I was kind of flooded with messages, flooded with signs, flooded with stuff in journey, flooded with stuff from my angels. And the more I was flooded with that stuff, the more my ego rose to fight that off, because my ego, the thing within me that protects me, that loves me, that takes care of me, doesn't want to feel hurt. It doesn't want me to feel hurt. It doesn't want me to be focusing on a relationship that's kind of been and gone. You know, it's very kind of primal, and it will push all that stuff away. And what I've needed to do is kind of accept the truth of who I am, and accept the truth of this path that I am on in terms of my own growth and my own enlightenment, and accept the stuff that Spirit is showing me from a place of surrender. And from that place of surrender, it's just kind of letting go of wanting, letting go of kind of expectation, letting go of thinking I know what's going on, because I don't. It's completely unknown. It's completely spiritually led path. I'm just kind of following. And when I release that kind of expectation and become a little bit more comfortable with stepping into the unknown, whatever unfolds to be will unfold to be. And it's getting to that place of comfort with that. Now my ego who wants to know what's happening, what's going on, why am I being shown this all the time, what do I need to do, I need to put a plan into place to kind of like make everything okay and safe. My ego's not happy with that. But my ego is just kind of trying to protect me and make me feel safe. So what I needed to do is say those Ho'oponopono words to my ego, to soothe my ego, to calm my ego, to settle it, and to show it love and show it compassion as a part of me, and therefore bringing in a deeper kind of self-love to kind of soothe those rising internal fights. So talking to my ego, I love you. Thank you for being a part of me. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for caring. Thank you for trying to make me feel safe. But we're okay. We can get through this. We don't need all those boundaries. We don't need all those borders. It's okay to step into the unknown. And then the next word, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I that I fought against you. I'm sorry that I clashed against you. I'm sorry that I tried to push you away. I'm sorry that I didn't accept all of these parts within myself. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for the times when I have not loved you and when I have denied you, saying that to parts of myself and parts of my ego. And thank you. Thank you for being a part of me. Thank you for helping me. But now it's time to kind of rest and settle in all that we are within. So those are those kind of deeper meanings to those words that I would find to say to myself. And then within practice, saying them over and over again. And what you will find as you say them with your hand on your heart, feeling that love come in, it brings such deep, deep, deep love of self. And from that love of self, you feel centered. You feel centered and you feel strong and you feel ready to face what you need to face. And it brings it all back to where you are meant to be. And that certainty of knowing where you are on this path that we walk and how it works in terms of saying it to other people. So you might want to say that to your twin flame, not physically to them, but keeping them in your mind and working through absolutely everything that has risen an anger, that has risen an upset, that has risen a divide, that has risen a conflict, working through all of that and slowly but surely releasing all of that. As you do that, you will unite all the parts within yourself to bring that kind of strength, that certainty and that core of love. So it's amazing. It's an amazing, powerful practice. I've very, very quickly spoken over this because, if I didn't, my videos that I make would be like hours long. Nobody wants to watch like a 3-hour long video on Ho'oponopono. So I'll leave it like that. If you want to ask me any more questions about it, then you can do, or if I might even just post the words actually on the wall again. Lorraine in the group did a fabulous link for a Ho'oponopono meditation, so I'll maybe try and find that and bring it back up to the top of the wall so that that's there for you as well. So maybe have a think. I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but the foundations of our spiritual practice that is right for us and how it brings that kind of strength through for you in your life. And those kind of foundations might be different for different people. But for me, the key ones are gratitude, Ho'oponopono, and connecting in with spirit and guides and the light every single day, just as a baseline. I do other stuff as well. I've got my Reiki self-healing as well. That's quite a foundation practice for me, as in it's like a daily thing. So you might do lots of other things, but it's having that strong key foundation. And the reason why that foundation is so important is because when you go through the trials, when you go through the tough times, when you go through whatever suffering is going to arise in your healing, because you will feel that, you will feel moments of grief and challenge. If you've got that foundation, it gets you through. It gets you through, and it becomes easier. It becomes easier as you go through it. So yeah, I'm feeling this kind of rising today. I really am, kind of rising forward into the light that we all are. So let's see what unfolds. Let's see what unfolds. I'll leave it there for the now, and sending you all loads and loads of love and many blessings.